Good morning, happy Wednesday. Today we're going to start our lesson off with reading Lewis and Clark, A Prairie Dog for President. It's written by Shirley Ray Redmond, illustrated by John Manders. Lewis and Clark are some people you are going to learn about, and what they did is going to be in the read aloud today and tomorrow. So in 1803, Thomas Jefferson was the president of the United States. Remember, he was number 3. Oop, there we go. The country was still new. It was also very big. It was so big no one had ever explored it all. Remember, people just lived in a little part of it. President Jefferson wondered how long it would take to reach the Pacific Ocean, clear on the other side of our country. He wondered what the land was like along the way. There he is. Okay. The president wrote to his friend Meriwether Lewis. Lewis was a soldier. He wanted to be an explorer. His buddy William Clark wanted to be an explorer too. Lewis and Clark went to see the president. "I need someone to explore the West," said the president. "We'll do it," said Lewis and Clark. There. The president told Lewis and Clark to make maps and explore rivers. He told them to collect plants and draw wild animals. Most importantly, he told them to send presents. Lewis and Clark needed helpers for their journey. They took soldiers, scouts, that's people who go ahead to see what's happening, scouts and boatmen. Lewis even took his dog. It was a long trip. One of the scouts brought his wife, Sacagawea. Sacagawea was a big help. She picked nuts and berries, and she cooked meat and stew. And the most important part of what she did was she talked and traded with the Indians they met along the way. Out west, Lewis and Clark made maps. They explored rivers and they collected plants, just like what they were supposed to do. They saw animals they had never seen before. They saw bison. They saw grizzly bears. Oh my. They saw jackrabbits with long ears. And they drew pictures of all the animals. Look, he's chasing the jackrabbit. There's a grizzly. You know it's a grizzly bear when you see this hump on his back. Black bears, which can be several colors, don't have that hump. There you go. There's the bison. They tried to catch some of the animals to send to the president, but the bison were too big and the grizzly bears were too dangerous. Oh. Their jackrabbits were too fast. The president will think we've forgotten him, they worried. I wonder what they're going to send to him. Oh, that's going to be for tomorrow. We're finished with that part. So we have learned that the Mississippi River, there it is, see? The Mississippi River goes all the way down to New Orleans, to Louisiana. And the Mississippi River is important because people moved stuff. If they wanted to sell stuff, they either went upriver or down the river. And the Mississippi River is a very big river, bigger than the Arkansas River that maybe you've seen before. And they moved goods back and forth along the river. It's important because, you know, they didn't have cars back then. They didn't have trucks, nothing like that. Now, remember, during this time, anything west of the Mississippi River, excuse me, was not the United States. The United States just kind of stayed right here. Okay. A big part of this chunk about right here belonged to France. Remember, the mouth of the Mississippi River is at New Orleans. Okay. Why do you think President Jefferson wanted to buy New Orleans? He wanted to buy it to get control of that river. He goes, this is a very important river. If our country has control of that river, we can control what goes up and what goes down and who's on it, who isn't on it. It was important also because other people wanted to buy it. Why do you think Jefferson wanted to buy the city of New Orleans from Napoleon in France, like we learned yesterday? It all had to do with the river, control of the river. And who did Jefferson send to France to talk to Napoleon about buying New Orleans? His friend James Monroe. Remember, people traveled by boat. They didn't have cars or trucks like I just said. Here's your job for today, to listen and find out if James Monroe was able to buy the city of New Orleans from Napoleon for the United States. And I will see you tomorrow. I love you. Bye.